Ethena emerges as a top RWA project with its new Telegram integration. Will Hype continue to lead the altcoin market? And why are XRP whales accumulating so heavily? This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz IO, and as always, not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, good morning guys. So Bitcoin is hovering at just above $107,000. Although it doesn't look that strong, especially altcoins don't look that strong today, we are still above this level, which is technically good. And if we can hover above here for the next couple of days or so, I do see us continuing to the top of this range. However, with the candle as it is right now, if it just wants to break down back underneath this level, it won't be looking too good, and we might just be chopping around for a little bit longer. I did think we would pump to the top of this range very quickly if we took out these bottom wicks right here. But it looks like we are just kind of hovering around here for now. We're going to have to see what happens at New York Open. Stocks are pretty much at all-time highs, so I would be surprised if Bitcoin wasn't also up there along with stocks breaking new all-time highs soon. So we're gonna have to see what happens today at New York Open. But at the same time, look on chain. It says, why has Bitcoin surged so sharply over the past 2 days? Well, most of the buying came from a pro cap of Bitcoin, which purchased just under 5,000 Bitcoin worth $514.5 million. On June 23rd, they announced a $1 billion merger, and it raised more than $750 million. So this is what we talked about yesterday with Anthony Pompliano buying $750 million worth of Bitcoin potentially. In less than a day, they spent $386.5 million to buy 3,724 Bitcoin at around $103,000. And just now, they announced they bought another 1,208 Bitcoin for $128 million at an average of 105,977. So that's part of the reason a lot of these companies are buying a lot of Bitcoin. So now, is this a V reversal? You know, we had this V reversal here. Is this another V reversal? And we're just going to head down lower, and we're just going to make a series of lower highs like this and head back down even lower. That's a possibility, but now that the kind of war issues have faded, I would like to think that we will head to the top of this range, and we won't just continue this, we won't continue down again, because if we do break down again below this and we hold down below here, it's probably likely we'll come back down here, but I don't think that's the most probable. I think most likely we'll chop around here and then head back to new all-time highs sooner than later. Then we also have the U.S. housing finance system just blinked. The FHFA just ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare to count crypto as an asset for mortgage qualification. This is the first step towards Bitcoin being treated like digital property by the mortgage giants. It's happening. Now, I'm sure they'll probably just count mostly like Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, maybe Solana. But wouldn't it be funny if you had your mortgage backed by something like Fartcoin? That would be amazing. Now we have Tracer saying historically Bitcoin tops out 18 months after the halving. 2016 Bitcoin peaked in 17 months. 2020 Bitcoin peaked in 18 months. And 2024 we're now in month 14. It's not just a pattern, it's programmed. So this is what we were talking about yesterday, where if we are following the same Bitcoin halving and the same cycle theory, then we should be topping in Q4 this year. However, we've had a bit of a different cycle where we had a Bitcoin all-time high before the halving, and we also just have new, bigger institutions coming in. And the fact that we haven't had quantitative easing during the entire bull run, we've had, just flat over the whole bull run, and we will potentially have quantitative easing starting next year, means that I think the cycle could extend a little bit longer, similar to how Raoul Pal believes we could top around June 2026 in Q2 next year, because of, how different this cycle has been. With just, monetary easing, the M2 money supply, and, institutions coming in. And then we have our favorite Japanese stock, Metaplanet, bought another 1,234 Bitcoin for $133 million at around $107,000. So they bought the top yesterday. Metaplanet currently holds about 12,345 Bitcoin for $1.33 billion at an average price around $98,000. So Metaplanet is following MicroStrategy. They're, accumulating a lot of Bitcoin, and their average is around $98,000. With MicroStrategy's, I think their average is around $70,000. And then moving on, we have the CME's XRP futures hit $542 million in volume in the first month, with 45% of trades from outside North America. So the XRP futures ETF launched in June, and they did just over $500 million in trading volume, with almost half of it coming from outside of North America. We also have Aeon has partnered with Ripple and now use XRP and RLUSD on their Web3 mobile payment platform. Users can pay via Telegram app for purchases at common retail brands, initially with 20 million merchants in Southeast Asia and soon in Africa and Latin America. We also have XRP is pulling ahead its 30-day % change in realized cap just hit plus 4.2%. outpacing Sol's minus 1%. Capital is rotating faster in XRP, hinting at a stronger short-term conviction. And when XRP ETFs in the second half of this year, so we just had the futures ETF, which I said was kind of short-term bearish because it means now institutions can also short XRP, but the spot ETF for XRP, which will be a lot more bullish, could be coming in the second half of this year. So we have Bitwise, Canary Capital, 21 shares, Wisdom Tree Pro shares, Grayscale Coin shares, Volatility shares, Franklin Templeton, Hashdex, and Techrium, all with billions of dollars in assets under management, which could be having their XRP ETFs approved later this year, especially with the new SEC administration, which is a lot more crypto friendly. Now, as for XRP, it finally did this thing that I drew out, what seems like months ago, where it came down, it took the bottom of this range and then reclaimed. Now, I will say it doesn't look the strongest right here. Ideally, we want to see it start to reclaim at least this level, which would change the market structure back to bullish if we reclaimed above here on the daily chart. So I want to see that at the very least. But most likely, based on how this chart is looking right now, it does look like it wants to go down. So ideally, it doesn't make a new low. Ideally, it does something like this, where maybe it comes down and then continues higher, and we see something like that, and we start to make new higher highs and higher lows on XRP. But as it is right now, it looks like it just kind of wants to go down. So we're going to have to wait and see. Ideally, it doesn't come down and make a new low down here, because that would not be ideal, especially as Bitcoin is back in the upper $100,000 range. So hopefully XRP holds up around there. Nothing to do just yet. We're just kind of waiting because it is still making lower highs here. So we have to wait to see what happens. And then moving on to Ethena, we have its go time for ENA. ENA stablecoin USDE is now officially implemented to Telegram's 1 billion users. I'll show you simply why this is a very big achievement. There's over 770 million USDT on TON today, but no way to earn yield on that USDT. But as of today, that 770 million can now earn 15% APY with just one extra step in the Telegram wallet app. Step 1, buy USDT. Step 2, deposit it on the dollar section on the earn page. That's it. Now 1 billion users have access to boosted 15% APY savings account on their phone with interest paid regularly and immediate withdrawals. Telegram and Ethena Labs have just made a savings account and sending money as easy as sending a text message for billions of users, which is pretty cool and pretty bullish. We also have Wolverine saying top RWA projects by TVL. Real-world assets remain at the core of institutional momentum. Based on the total value locked, here are the leading projects. And number one, we have Ethena at 1.45 billion with on at $1.39 billion. And we also have Alea Research saying, today we just released this new thesis report on ENA. ENA is a kingmaker bet. Convergence unites yield, compliance, dApps, fees, and flows accrue to staked ENA via fee switch. As the largest yield-bearing stablecoin, Ethena has already amassed a liquidity moat. Right now, the largest yield-bearing stablecoin flow, Ethena Labs, is expanding its revenue sources with an appeal to both retail and institutions, all maintaining a lean structure. Ethena's combination of crypto-native and TradFi yield not only unlocks arbitrage opportunities, but helps the protocol to stay relevant and capture positive perps funding in bull markets or reallocating to T-bills in bear markets. Ethena's killer product has seen huge growth due to higher yields and DeFi integrations. A key trigger is the launch of retail stablecoins now that the Genius Bill Act has passed the Senate in the US, which should open the door for more issuers in the coming months. So ENA is a good example of a product that is doing good things. They have a good stablecoin product, but the chart necessarily for the coin that behind it isn't the best. I will say ENA looks terrible right here. We are breaking down below here. And if we really zoom in, we are just continuing to make lows, and we're breaking this multi-month, multi-year level of support. So we're breaking down below this level. Ideally, we wanted to see this break back above and hold around 37 cents, but it is breaking below this year level of support here around 26 cents. And it looks like it wants to, at the very least, go down towards 20. But I think we'll probably go even lower than that, which is not the best for this coin. Now, do they have a good DeFi product and a good stable coin yield product? Yeah, it's great. But for Ethena's price, there's definitely better coins to hold and to long. And Ethena is not one of those right now. You can still use their product, but holding their stable coin or holding their coin behind the product is not the best right here. We are not looking good. I think we're heading towards at least 20 cents in the near future. Then moving on, we have Hyperliquid versus networks over the past 3 months. We have Hyperliquid here, and you can see it's up 151% in the past 3 months versus most other networks at 11% gain in 90 days. And then we have Justin. A whale has moved over 274,000 Solana worth $39.9 million to Hyperliquid. This is the largest spot asset deposit ever on the platform. We also have Hyperliquid is one of the few crypto protocols that didn't just take the market share from others, but expanded the entire market. And we have Hyperliquid Hub saying over the past 30 days, Hyperliquid has processed a record-breaking $256 billion in trading volume generating about $55.66 million in fees. Here's how those fees were distributed across the ecosystem. The Assistance Fund bought back about 1.4 million hype tokens from the open market at an average price of $35.70, totaling about $51.77 million. An additional $3.89 million in fees were allocated to HLP, or the Hyperliquid liquidity providers. Currently, the Assistance Fund holds just under 25 million hype tokens, now valued at around $956 million, and this figure continues to grow daily. At this pace, the AF is on track to become the largest DAO treasury in the market, potentially surpassing even Uniswap's DAO. Centralized exchanges are gradually losing their dominance and giving way to Hyperliquid. Now, Hyperliquid is one of the better looking altcoins in the market right now. I will say we have come up to this level and then broken down below, but the way it looks right now, especially on the daily chart, it looks like it wants to continue higher. So this is what we ideally wanted to see from other altcoins, but other altcoins are pretty much this black candle right now, where they're rejecting from this level of resistance, not about to retake it like Hyperliquid is. So Hyperliquid, definitely one of the stronger coins in the market right now. I do expect us to come back up here and reclaim this level around $39-ish. Once we can reclaim this level, we'll start to look pretty good for heading higher. But once we get really back above these levels here, if we can close a daily candle above $42, it's probably going much higher, towards at least $50 in the near term, because we haven't closed a single daily candle above this level. We've spiked above it multiple times. But if we can close a daily candle above here, man, we are going a lot higher on Hyperliquid. I think that's probably the case. Hyperliquid is taking a lot of the market share from other altcoins. Pretty much everyone is consolidating to Bitcoin, Hyperliquid, whatever the strongest coin is of the moment, and Hyperliquid seems to be one of those. And then lastly for today, with the Moca Foundation launches Moca Chain for private identity. So this solution meets the rising demand for privacy and control. It lets users, devices, and AI manage identities across platforms and blockchains. It does this without relying on centralized providers, and Moca Chain is built to work with real-world consumer apps aiming to bring privacy-first identity tools into everyday life. Its testnet is expected in Q3 2025, with the mainnet plan for Q4. Backed by Animoca Brands, which is huge, Moca Chain powers identity apps with Moca Coin and its core token. It will offer gas, staking, storage, and data verification. Today, billions of people log in apps using centralized accounts like Google or Facebook, and this convenience often comes at the cost of privacy. Single sign-in systems give large companies access to vast amounts of personal data, often monetized without user permission. Also, Moca Chain takes a different route. According to Yatsiu, co-founder and executive chairman of Animoca Brands, the chain is designed to let users own and control their own digital credentials. By using decentralized systems, Moca Chain eliminates single points of failure and offers secure, self-sovereign identity across any chain or app. So that is the new Moca Chain, and that is the video for today, guys. Bitcoin hovering just above $107,000. If we can just kind of hold above here, at least on the daily, I think we will be going higher. But if we break down below this, and hold below $106,500, it's not looking too good, and most likely we'll be starting to head back down here. It'll just be a series of lower highs, and it won't be too ideal. But I think most likely we will, we'll kind of chop around here for a couple days or so, and then hopefully head higher and, head back to new all-time highs, as the S&P and the NASDAQ are also, hitting new all-time highs daily right now. So look at this. The S&P is at all-time highs. The NASDAQ pretty much, broke all-time highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin followed soon. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.